Now, my take tonight is about the new directive from the head of civil service regarding retirement age that seeks to, quote, clarify on terms of service for chief executive officers of state corporations. Now, it has been met with outrage in some quarters. Now, in this circumstance, context is key. It is important to remember that a number of state corporation CEOs are close to or have attained the age of retirement, like the Kenya Revenue Authority, Kenya Power, and even at the Central Bank of Kenya. History is also important. You see, this new directive is at odds with the very same man's statement on the very same issue back in 2014. At the time, the big debate was all about the wage bill. Mr. Kinyua held the same position then as he does today, which is that of head of public service. What's different today, interestingly, are his views. He was then responding to the many requests his office had received for extension of the retirement age, which, as you may remember, had already been set at the age of 60 in 2009. This is what he said on this matter in a circular that was dated 14th February 2014, and I quote, he said, there is no need to discourage these requests. There is need to discourage these requests and allow the officers to retire when they should. In fact, there was even a directive at that time from State House, no less, for civil servants to start grooming their successors upon reaching the age of 58 to enable a smooth transition. So we ask today, what has changed? As far as I know, the issue of the huge wage bill, which was cited in 2014, is yet to be resolved today. Or has it? Now, if you take a look at that one, this is an interesting one because the Public Service Commissioner, when the head of public service said that the 2009 circular on review of mandatory retirement age of 60 or 65 is not applicable to state corporations, chief executive officers, and thereby exempting them from retirement at the age of 60, we ask also where that leaves the Public Commission Act. Here is what it says. The Public Service Commission Act of 2017, Part 1, Section 3 clarifies that this act shall apply to all public bodies and persons holding office in the public sector. Now, I know we might start to question whether state corporations and their directors or heads are subject to this law. Well, Part 1 of the Public Service Commission Act in Part 2 defines a public body as including any corporation, council, board, committee, or other body which has powers to act under and for purposes of any written law relating to the undertakings of a public utility or otherwise to administer funds belonging to or granted by the government or raised by your rates or by your taxes. So that is the clarification that is required there. Now, the regulation it refers to is that circular of March 20th, that's 2009, that caps the retirement age at 60 years. Now, let me hasten to add that even with that, there is an exception. And that is in the subsequent section that states that the officer may stay if he or she possesses some rather rare knowledge and skills. Now, is he therefore in line with the law that we have just gone through, saying that all heads of state of all the 257 corporations that exist in the country possess rare knowledge and skills? How and when was this determination made? Who are these individuals and what makes them so special in a country of more than 40 million Kenyans? Now, even if you were to put the legal issues of this directive aside, what precedence does it in fact set for a workforce that is already reported to be aging? Remember, 60% of those within the civil service are aged between 40 and 59, with the majority of them holding management positions. This directive also continues to foster the age-old notion that people must work in the civil service up until their death. Now, this may look insignificant when you're looking at 257 corporations and the CEOs. But what does it mean for a country that is trying to inject some energy in its civil service? For a process that has been rationalized since devolution began in 2013. You see, it's not just about the legal issues, but it does point to a bigger picture. One, of a head of civil service going back on his word, also on flip-flopping on interpretation of the law. One can only hope tonight that this move is not targeted at securing the jobs of certain individuals. For that, indeed, would be a great shame. And that tonight is my take.